Start করে দিয়েছি, so I'll start. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am. So we thank you for taking out the time to come live with us, and I'm gonna give you a brief introduction about you. So today we have with us Dr. Mallika Banerjee, who is a globally recognized psychologist and an advisory board member at World Mental Healthcare Association. Currently, she serves as the Dean of the Psychology Department at Techno Indian University. Having been previously the HOD of Psychology at Calcutta University, she is now the director of Pradeep, which is a Center for Autism Management. Dr. Banerjee has garnered numerous national and international accolades in her field of study, and today she's going to share some insightful information about how to cope stress. So today, thank you, ma'am, for joining us. You can start with your presentation, ma'am.
Okay, can I start now? Can I start now? Good afternoon to you all. Today, actually, my topic is stress and resilience. Actually, what is written here in a condition, etc., all things, actually, how we will be in a good condition. That is a well-being. That is how to cope with the stress. Of course, there is stress. Actually, one point I can say, if what in life, in throughout our life, what we want, always we get it. What we think about the future, always it happens. There is no problem, nothing. If the life is so smooth, so yeah, there is no stress. But generally, it is not actually. Sorry, it is not actually the life. It is not actually, I think in my little experience, there is no person in the world can say that throughout my life there is no inhibition, nothing, etc. What I want, always I got it, etc., etc. Another point is that that is not possible. That's what I am telling. Next to impossible. Now, another point is that without stress, actually, we can improve ourselves. The achievement, probably, if we think, if it is mental achievement, if it psychological achievement, if it is financial achievement, whatever it is, without any stress, all things are smooth. Really, the achievement is not possible. So the person is not actually going to achieve properly. So he or she is saying that all things are okay. Always. Of course, all things are okay sometimes. Now, before starting this seminar, I thought whether I can contact with the organizer. Of course, now it is okay. Now I am telling something according to my own. But point is that we can't say it is always, and it should not be always. If it is always smooth, etc., then the stress, of course, is not there, and our well-being will not come. For that reason, I think that first of all, sustaining well-being, I have to say something about well-being and sustaining well-being, and how sustaining it is, how to cope with our stress, daily life stress. Okay. And before starting, I'm telling another point, that if anyone has any question, I am not very tech savvy. I don't know what is the real technological service here. If anyone want to say anything, ask anything in the midst of the lecture, you can. But again, I'm not, I don't know that way, whether it is permissible in this particular situation where we are actually sitting in this online. But if it is possible, it is, of course, it is up to organizer, then it is okay. Okay for me. Now I'm starting well-being, stress, and resilience. Slide is actually sustaining well-being. What is that? First of all, well-being means actually when I feel well-being, not only the well-being, really someone actually may say, seeing me that you are in a very good position, all are underneath this, etc., etc. So you are well, I think. So it is not that when I have to feel well, that yes, I am well, everything is okay, then again I can feel. So that is the well-being. So it is a combination of cognitive and emotional aspect. That cognitive mean in according to our knowledge, according to our perception, according to our thinking, that yes, I am okay. Well, and of course emotional, through which I feel that emotionally I feel yes, I'm in good position. Of course, now, say for example about me. Of course, now I'm of 67 years of age, have prolonged practices, etc. All things are there, and all my services are very high level. And according to me, very high level, but not for all. Of course, according to me, all these are here. But emotionally, each and every time and cognitively, of course, it is there. Of course, cognitively, what I am, I have achieved. But emotionally, I'm not actually. Always, it is not. Emotionally, I'm well. So the well-being is a combination of these cognitive and emotional aspects. These emotional maybe for my finance, maybe for my physical application, maybe for my relationship in your home, maybe for my my words, my son, daughter, who are they are. So own subjective evaluation according to life is actually the well-being. And this subjective evaluation, of course, depends on my emotional aspect. Of course, cognitive. When I'm thinking without any reason, without any logic, yes, I'm good, I'm good. It is not very actually the good example of well-being, because that may diversion. So, of course, logic should be there and my own subjective evaluation according to that, that cognitive judgment about the satisfaction and affective reaction. Of course, affective means the emotional reaction of life. So, that is well-being, and subjective well-being is happiness, low negative effect, self-acceptance. The most important point is self-acceptance. What I am, I'm okay. Self-acceptance, low negative effect. There are of course there are some needs. There were some needs in my life. All needs, I can't say that all needs are fulfilled properly. Till date, there are some of course there are some grievances that why for me, why, etc., etc., etc. All of we have. I have also, all of we have. But self acceptance, that what I am, I have accepted myself. That is the real subjective well-being. And negative effects are, of course, are there, but how much low the negative effect and high the positive effect, these two actually make that the combination of these two, low negative affect and high positive affect. Affect means the emotion, the feeling emotion, what you are telling. That is affective component of our body. So that is called subjective well-being. And actually, within that subjective well-being, what is very much important, that finding purpose and meaning in life. That why I am living now. There is, I have no contribution in life. So why I am? That, why not? That is coming. Sorry. time we have to think over that the purpose, and I have a proper purpose and meaning in life. When it is off with our life, then life is not well at that time. So that is the well-being at first point. Next, next slide, please. The point is sustainable well-being. So what is that sustainable? That is something that can sustain for a period of time. Now I'm well, and after 1 hour I'm not well. So that's sustainable. I know now it is a very good condition for me, but it is only for 1 hour. After that, something is may come which actually destroy my all happiness, etc. All things. Then actually it is not well-being, because each and every time I have to think about my future after 1 hour. It is my example only. 1 hour or one day or year, something is coming. Something is coming when we are thinking. Even in our environmental, when there are some forecasts about the environment. Oh, today there will be rain. Oh, today there will storm is coming. Think about that COVID situation. Think about that. What is the name of that? Yeah, I'll, yeah. I've forgotten that name of that particular storm. There are so many names are there. Okay, so that is the sustainable well-being for a sustained for a period of time. For a period of time mean not that for the whole life, but for a period of time. And it refers to something that can be supported, tolerated, conformed over time, and that can be stated with certainty. That supported, why I'm okay. That supported, tolerated, conformed over time, and that can be stated with certainty. That is, with certainty mean according to my knowledge, according to my logic, cognition, what I'm telling, that it is certain. And this building on the present in such a way that not to put the future at risk. So that is the sustainable well-being. Now, the point is that not to put the future at risk. No one can say that future will be all okay. Particularly this particular act, what I'm doing it now, that should be in a present day situation, that should be that future will not be this. So each and every time for the period, I can say it is a good thing. It is actually tolerated things. It is confirmed over time. And from this particular activity, the future has no risk. Say, for example, what I'm actually giving a lecture in a session. No, there is no future. If actually, I'm telling, I'm a COPD patient. If I think that for 1 hour, it will actually make my lung very badly, it affect my lung. I will not go for that. Of course, I will not go for that. When I'm sure, though, no, I can actually manage it, then I will do. And if there is any type of actually error in decision, then we are in stress, we are in distress. So next, so actually, next slide, please. Actually, from that sustainable well-being, sustainable well-being, we are, next slide, please. Sustainable well-being is achieved when improving individual well-being, which is correlated with improving the well-being of other members of the society. You are very okay. What is that? You are very okay according to your life, according to you, but it is not very okay for other members. So the natural environment, and when according to you any result that sustainable well-being is improving your life, And it, of course, it is well-being for other members of the society. All others are crying, and you at one alone laughing. So, of course, it is not sustainable well-being. And of course, the natural environment, which is not in our hand always, the natural environment also a point for sustainable well-being. I actually here for stress coping, etc. I have to add natural environment after that COVID and that particular storm. I can't yeah, I can't remember the name. Yeah, Alpha, whatever, yeah, whatever it is. But the point is that COVID so hurriedly, just once, how they came, and actually for 1.5 years, you can say more or less 2 years, actually change our lifestyle thoroughly. And that's change, of course, mostly, not all, but mostly in a negative sense. Our office, etc., all things are something, of course, ambers, particularly education, particularly academic career, etc. So I have to actually add that natural environment, which is not always within my hand. Next, now I am going to, that is the sustainable well-being. Next, that is stress and coping. That what I have started with first, that life would be simple indeed if all our needs automatically satisfied, which is not possible. In reality, next slide, please. In reality, however, there are many obstacles, personal, environmental, and which may prevent our situation, particularly in the COVID situation, the environmental situation, which is not in our hand, it prevent. But obstacles are there, and all obstacles. Next slide, please. Next slide. All obstacles are there. That obstacles place adjustive demands on us. Always those obstacles place adjustive demands on us. That yes, this is obstacle of a particular obstacle. You overcome that. You have to overcome that. That is stress. That leads us to stress. Of course, again, I'm actually giving you an example of COVID. That is the adjustive demand, of course, are there. We have to think of our, about your market, about our food, daily food, even daily food. So, under conditions of overwhelming stress, even a previously stable person may develop temporary psychological problem and lose the capacity to gain pleasure from life. Of course, sudden stress, overwhelming stress, temporary psychological problem, and a stable person may develop temporary psychological person, even actually he is accepted as a very stable person in the society, even sudden stress under conditions. Next slide, please. Now, the point is that resilience. What is that? That coping with stress with proper strategy. I'm telling proper strategy. Coping with stress, that you have to cope with stress is coming. You have to cope with that stress with proper strategy. What is that proper? Which gives you good strength of living, which gives us good strength of living. That is proper. Which is proper to you may not be proper to me. Which is proper to me may not be proper to you. We are differing according to individual difference. So, what is that proper? It gives us good strength, anyhow. And how it will gives us good strength, that is the buoyancy. Actually, in Bengali, it is called bhashomanota. That when you can actually make your head out of the water, then you can actually survive. When you can't, when you can't, you will actually you can't survive. So if you think that water is stress, and always we have to actually put our face up to the stress water. That is the buoyancy. In physics, I think all you know the term buoyancy, that is in Bengali, that is ভাসমানতা, ভেসে থাকার ক্ষমতা. That is the point here. Uh, Now I'm going to the normal stress reaction. Next, please. That is, there is a always we have so many stress, so we have a stress tolerance limit. What I'm telling, that I'm not very tech savvy. What here to enter the in that particular program, in this program, that particular yeah, site which they have given the organizer, I can't actually enter properly, and there are some subjective yeah, you can say that some decisions, some suggestions are actually in my mobile, that do that, which I don't know. But at first, we all have that stress for some time, and for some, and we have that normal stress tolerance limit. I call, and then I'm successful to actually enter in the in this program. And so we have to take the some extra effort. When excessive concern about tasks, then worries about that quality, whether I can actually maintain the quality of quantity, time, etc., all things, then anxiety, aggressive tendencies, and aggressive towards self, aggressive to aggression toward others may start. That is the when it actually goes beyond the limit of your stress tolerance. All we have some stress tolerance limit, and we are differing, of course, according to individual difference, we are differing. And beyond that stress tolerance limit, that is actually the distress come. Next slide. So we have now we are going to that the psychological basic psychological need from which the stress come. First is the first four basic psychological need, that is the protection. All we want, that security and safety, everything. After food and water, that is basic hunger and thirst, that is the basic physiology. After that, we want the protection at first, before other physiological issues of like sex, like yeah, sameness, etc. Protection, that is security and safety, is the first and foremost important in basic psychological need. Then always we all want to be accepted, belonging, and understood by others. So all are all are loving me, all want me. That is, I'm accepted by all. Now, the point is that if I always want that I should be accepted by all, that is again, that particular need is not a proper need. I have to think, of course, love is very much needed for life, but I have to prepare myself that there are person I'm not actually, I can't love everybody. So I should not expect that all will love me. আমি সবাইকে ভালোবাসতে পারছি না, সবাই আমাকে ভালোবাসবে চাই না। If I want that, if I can't love everybody, all should love me. That is a wrong decision about our toward that stress. So that actually strengthen, that guys, that the inequality, it extend our stress. So the love accepted. The next point is self-esteem, that I am a worthy person. What is my contribution in the society, in the environment, or in my family, even to me, is actually worthy. That is a proper need, psychological need of a human being. And then self-fulfillment, my need to what he is best cited for. Always, all we are actually thinking that I should be actually best cited for. Now, what I'm telling you, with my knowledge, with my pronunciation, with my voice, and of course some technical advantages. I want that all you should actually listen me, and you will be actually embraced with that. So how I'm best cited for actually all general people in each and every society people and each and every achievement, always actually this particular need, psychological need is there. Otherwise, we can't actually survive properly. Properly means psychologically in with well-being. We can't survive. Now, these are the four basic psychological needs. Now, much of the individual behavior is a response to one or more often a composite basic of psychological need. That is a very common term that all our behavior is for one or composite of one or two or that what we are when we are eating something and when we are actually now I'm in a seminar, I'm telling something, all that is, of course, it is a self-fulfillment need. So to one or more of a composite of basic need. And now it comes actual or felt inability to utilize defenses when dealing with reality. Now the point, very important point, is that actual inability, say for example in this particular situation, actual inability to reach you. And next, another point is the felt inability. Actually, I have done well, but I feel that the today's seminar is very bad, etc., etc., etc. Actual or felt inability to utilize defenses when dealing with reality. We are dealing with reality each and every time some defenses are there. In now I'm telling something, and each and every time after I think not even not after 5 minutes, after 3 minutes, I'm actually watching the clock, the words that whether what is the time now. I have to finish it within three. So this is actually, of course, a threat, but failed inability. That if I think that it is a not my way, it is really am unable to actually reach you. Actual or felt inability. And next point is satisfactory use of these defense are in turn influenced by the perception of reality. When we are satisfactorily actually use the defenses, what I have already actually influence our perception of reality. That whether I'm really, it is actual or really it is felt. That perception of reality actually our through our defenses, through our um, mental ability, you can say, by which we are trying to cope each and every time the stress is actually the point by which we are influence perception of reality properly. Next one. Now, the concept of stress, I have already told you many times, so many times. So I'm telling that the concept of stress, stimulus that produces feeling of tension. Of course, it is a stimulus. Produces feeling of tension that whether I can I enter the can I use the link properly before starting it? I can't actually, because I know that I'm not tech savvy. And here, in this situation, there are no person to help me. So, stress is a stimulus that produces feeling of tension. Stress is the physical and psychological response to stressors. In this view, stress is the internal feeling generated in response to events or situation. That is my internal feeling. I am not actually physically expressed it. I'm not telling you, of course, you people, but I have not actually physically expressed it in even in verbally. That what is the problem here? have not expressed in to organizers. So stress as a physical and psychological response to stress. And third view as a person's involving an interaction between person and his environment. So when it is stress, it is my actually feeling, my actually feeling of tension, and according to environmental feedback or environmental whatever we are telling, environmental stimulus, when it actually aggravate my stress or reduce my stress. So third view of stress as a process involving an interaction between the person and his or her environment. So, of course, each and every time we have to consider the environment as well as the inner environment and our real outer environment, that is the world surrounding me. Next one. Now, today, this again, I'm telling after COVID, we have to actually add this that uncertainty, present day uncertainty. Economy, this COVID actually in our economy, in our employment, finance, relationship, physical, mental health, all are actually at that time there was there were uncertainties in each and every time. And actually at that time, all are craving security. We want to feel safe. Of course, when there are uncertainty, we want to feel safe and have a sense of control over our lives. Actually, fear and uncertainty can leave us feeling stressed, anxious, and powerless over the direction of life. Fear and uncertainty. When I think that this uncertainty is not for you, it is for the whole world, it should not be, I should not take in at that uncertainty if it is alone me. It is not alone me. I'm telling about that COVID situation. So fear and uncertainty can leave us feeling stressed, anxious, and powerless over the direction of life. When you are too anxious, too fearful, all your ability will be decreased, so powerless. Now cope with uncertainty. We have to cope. Of course, there is stress. There will be stress. Again, I'm telling, no person can say that all over your life there is no actually acceptance, no stress is there. So we have to think over cope with uncertainty. Now, the next point, please. Next slide, please. Focus on controlling those that are under your control. First point, the focus on controlling those that are under your control. Refocus your mind on taking action that are within your control. You can switch from ineffective worrying and ruminating into active problem solving. The point is that you have to focus on which you can, which is not under your control. Now, what particular, where is in Ethiopia, from the, with Russia, etc., all things we are reading. In my situation, I'm not telling all of you who are audiences, not for all. I'm telling about myself. I have nothing to do except the reading the newses. Maximally, if there is some help they need, I can contribute some money. Not anything. And that money will not really what happened already until that there are some problems are there. But that is important point. Focus on controlling those that are under your control. This means not that which are not controlled, you will not concerned with that. Of course, I was concerned, but I can't actually, I can't. That the according to my ability, according to my status, that particular problem, however, how much I'm actually worried or really sorry for that, real sorry for that, but I can't do anything. So refocus your mind on taking action that are within your control. What maximally I can do. And you can switch from ineffective, Oma ki hobe, ki hobe, ki hobe, what happened, what will happen, what will happen. No, that is ineffective worrying and ruminating into active problem solving. Of course, we have to be a problem solving nature, to be with problem solving. And that should be active problem solving, not that I'm thinking, and I'm thinking. Active problem solving. That is actually more. When circumstances are out of control, accept your emotion that it is not under my control, and try to put on a brave face. Of course, up to this I can control, but not after that. Denying or suppressing emotion will only increase stress and anxiety and make you more vulnerable to depression or burnout. That is when you are suppressing that. I'm actually really worried, but I'm suppressing my emotion. I'm denying it. Actually, what I'm telling that I'm yeah, working with the person with disabilities. Most of the cases when they come with their child, the person, the parent, at first denial is there. And most of the cases, I'm not telling all, most of the cases. Why? That they don't want to accept that, yes, my son or a daughter is disabled. And particularly, I'm working with autism, which is invisible disability, and it's really a problem in detection. But the point is that you have to actually open and open to accept whatever the problem. When you are denying, when you are suppressing, actually it actually pulling you back toward a black hole always. So it would be more vulnerable for your adjustment in everyday life. The next slide. So challenge your need for certainty, assess advantage and disadvantage of certainty. Uncertainty may help you learn to adapt, overcome challenges, and increase your resiliency. It can help you to grow as a person. If there is no uncertainty is there. So it will not actually give you some particular uh, experience through which you can overcome, if any, overcome the problem, if any. And when just suddenly came, there are so many examples surrounding us that up to high secondary or full, the parent actually make full your support for that, for the person, from food to go to school, etc. All things. After high secondary, when it is in college, and they are actually, there are so many problems because that particular support is not coming. It is not possible for your parent, and they are not even ready to take that support. And what happened? So always uncertainty help you learn to adapt. If there is no uncertainty, always all things are within your reach, then you don't know, you can't actually make that experience that how to adapt with in a adverse situation. Of course, adverse situations will be, and so the challenges will be, and it is our duty, it is our power to overcome the challenges. And with that, that it increase our resilience, that how we can actually make ourselves safe within the stressful situations. So it is a help to grow as a person, as a human being. And think how much can you be absolutely certain. That's what I'm telling again and again. that absolute certain is not possible whole life. So we have to. So assume bad things will happen just because the outcome is uncertain. What is the likelihood they will? Can you assume that bad things will happen just because an outcome is uncertain? Practically, that is the likelihood is not actually very common. So outcome may be uncertain for after any yeah, activity. If you think outcome must be certain, then it is not very good actually gesture as for coping with certainty. If you think that outcome is only within my hand, that will be. Yeah, anything else, someone I have given a very good interview, and I know that the interview is my uncle or someone who actually loved me. So outcome is fully in my hand. But always it is not possible. And even when you think that everything are actually in your hand, maybe there are some uncertainty which may actually just poke from your hand. It may be. So challenge your need for certainty. Learn to next slide. Learn to accept uncertainty. When irrational fears, worries take hold, you have to become more tolerant and accepting of uncertainty. Now, acceptance of uncertainty, how it is. The first point is identify your uncertainty triggers, which why that particular uncertainty, that which are triggering your uncertainty. You have to identify what is that identification, that my position in life. It is my identification. How much I need, if that particular service I will get or not, what I have to actually, what is the negative point on it and what are the positive point it. So identify your uncertainty triggers, that which are the cause behind my uncertainty, which I think actually, which I think actually, and recognize when you feel the need for that certainty. That is the point again. When you feel certainty, that you have to recognize and allow yourself to feel the uncertainty. Of course, think over that uncertainty may come. If you are very rigid to think that uncertainty must not come, actually it gives you more stress, and more stress. Generally, allow yourself to feel the uncertainty and let go. All you can do is let go and accept the uncertainty as part. So sometimes you have to shift your attention and focus on the present. Whatever happened, I have to focus. Yes, I have not actually received that particular job, but I have to actually focus on the present for the next one. Always accept uncertainty. Learn to accept uncertainty. Uncertainty must be there, and how to actually take that with a proper a lifelong attitude, that is uncertain. That is actually coping. Next, next, next slide. So, major causes of stress, again, I'm telling for students, environment, stigma, yeah, other than pandemic. I'm telling you pandemic earlier. Other than pandemic, for student, environment, stigma, that is the children or teenagers talk about their parent teachers, mental health, simply not acknowledge that anything serious, any type of stigma, environment, lack of awareness and quick diagnosis. Realize very important as parents to realize how common mental health issues, early diagnosis. That what I'm telling now, the major causes of stress, these are mostly for the disease, disability, and for general students. That is environment, stigma, and next one, lack of awareness about the disability. Next slide, please. That is the realize how common mental health issues are. You have anxiety, depression. Oh no, I will not go for the psychiatrist. I'm not mad. It is a very common stigma for particularly, I don't know the whole world, particularly in India, particularly in Bengali. Why I will go for psychiatrist or psychology? I'm কি পাগল হয়ে গেছি? So that is a stigma. Even if it is depression, even it is anxiety. So always early diagnosis is needed, not to not to have a stigma against. Next slide. These are very uh, general problem of that increased screen time at that time, particularly at the time of COVID. I'm just and with that there are anxiety, low mood, sleep deprivation for that increased screen time. You all know that increased screen time at that time of COVID-19 pandemic, and that actually have a high toll in our mental health. The next one, uh, outcome of what the outcome generally emotional disorder, depression, anxiety, etc. All things are there. Panic, excessive worries for that depression, anxiety. Next slide. These are not very important. Now I'm telling so the time is going to appraisal and coping. Those are very important. The how you have to cope. First point is the cognitive appraisal. That depends upon the thoughtful evaluation of whether the event threatens the individual's well-being and resources are available for meeting and dealing with the threat. There is a threat. You are in stress. Why you are in stress? Because a particular threat. What is the nature of that threat? Say for example, I should be within just yesterday's experience. I'm actually sharing with you the particular girl that I thought before result out. I thought in a very reputed university of West Bengal that I thought I will be within three and first, second, third, and she actually standard in sixth or seventh, like that, and that is a threat to him. The individual well-being and resource are available that dealing with that threat, whether that is really threat. And that is the cognitive appraisal, that what I thought it must be, otherwise I will be in depression. So when I thought that it should be, I will be within third, within three, I have to take that alternative. It may not be. All things are no, may not according to my will or my will. But what I think about my strength may not be equal to others. Of course, that is the cognitive appraisal. Then types of coping strategy. Next one, problem solving effort and emotion focused effort. Problem solving effort means you have to think over the most important point is actually find out the alternative and prepare yourself for ultimate. Next slide, please. Find out the alternative. Always. Why? That you have to, if it is not within three, it should be within 10. Find out the alternative. Always you have to find out the alternative. When the result came, you have to alternative that next year I will try again to be within three, within third position, first, second, third. So always that is actually the problem focused coping, that how to gain more number, etc. In each and every, I have to just I'm telling just in number, but each and every cases you have to think over alternative. Think that in our COVID situation, Always we have to find out alternatives, and we have find it out. Otherwise, we can survive. Even in a particular family, two persons in a COVID situation hospitalized, another one person in COVID situation not hospitalized, another two persons are okay. Always we have to actually find out alternative how to. And emotion focused coping is actually attempt to regulate or reduce your emotion. Stressful event, you have to reduce your emotion, you have to control your emotion. And the best I'm not telling best, but an important characteristics of human being is actually the flexibility and actually the controlling of emotion. These two are best characteristics of a human being. How much cognitive ability you have, if you have not that flexibility or not that emotional emotional adjusting behavior, you can't actually excel. So emotion focused coping. Mm, the next slide, please. Parents and teachers can is recover. I'm actually skipping this. That how can parents and teachers help students? That communication, open communication, assistance from peers, spending time with them, etc. All things it is very common. Open conversation. Next slide, please. Um, and how can students beat mental health problem that eat well, get plenty of sleep? Uh, Next slide, yes. Few other tips for students. Mm, then personality, what is there? I have not actually examined. Okay. That is my last point. That personality type, masochist. Don't be a masochist. The term masochism means deriving the pleasure, self-denial, especially physical suffering. That is uh, actually, I'm not happy. It is my, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Yes, of course. For that reason, especially physical suffering, এই আমাদের আগের আগে সব উপসে etc. All things that especially physical suffering, denial of reality, that is masochism. Don't be a masochist. আমি কি দুঃখী, আমি কি দুঃখী, আমি কি দুঃখী, আমি কি দুঃখী, আমার ভারী দুঃখ, আমার ভারী দুঃখ. Don't be a masochist. Masochism actually pulling you down toward a black hole. Don't be a type A personality. Type A personality mean those who strive diligently to achieve. You can think that yes, achievement is very good, but type A personality mean achieve by any means. Um, hit someone for my achievement, I will do. If I have to kill someone for my achievement, I will do. Type A personality mean achieve by any means. Of course, achievement is good, but not a type A personality. Next slide. Uh, very important point, external localization. Very important point, that don't be an externalized localized personality. External localization and internalized localization. These two mean when I am actually putting the contribution of others for my distress. That is all for I'm in a problem because he has done this, he has done, etc. The society is against me for that reason. And the last externalization, God is against me. In Bengali, আমার কপালটাই তো খারাপ, আমার তো কিছু করার নেই. So externalization actually pulling you down because you have nothing to do. Externalization actually make you cripple, harden, because you have nothing to do. Externalization. Don't be an externalized personality. Be an internalized personality, that is thinking about your contribution for the distress, and if there is no contribution for the distress, your contribution to overcome the distress. Say, for example, the COVID situation. There is no contribution of yours, but you have to think over the yours contribution to overcome that distress. So practically, I'm telling, I'm finishing my lecture with one point, that I'm giving one story to you, that one of my friend, very good friend, their husband and wife, a happy couple, and have a, yeah, after marriage, after 2 3 years, or they one way, beautiful girl child. And after 2 years of that girl child, it is found that that girl child is that girl child is actually person with disability, autism. Now there is no contribution of that particular couple for that disability. First point, the contribution of that. After 2 years or 3 years, another child came, and she is okay, so-called normal, all things. When the girl child, older one is 5, and younger one is 3, or like that, the my friend about whom I am telling, she lost her husband, and sudden serious disease, suddenly. Now she lost her husband, is not his contribution. Her child is disabled, not her contribution. Now what to do? That is the point. There are so many, I'm not telling you, are so many days going for that particular counseling, etc. with me. After that, she told me that let us do one thing, that in he's mean her husband's um, um, birthday or death day, I can't remember properly. Let us death day probably. Let us arrange one autism awareness program. At that time, I'm telling you this, at least for 24 or 20, no, more than that, before 25 or 26 years. I'm telling. At that time, autism was not very common to person, even not to doctors. That we will start Autism Awareness Day. That I have actually lost. You can't imagine that what surprised me. Then after that, it was actually make bigger and bigger. And after that, all we have to, when both of we two friends, we have to had a hall, and the person, parents having a person with autism, having children with autism, they are telling that do something. Don't know the special education, the special schools don't know how to deal with autism properly. Please do something. And after some time, actually, we know that it is not very easy in Kolkata to have a school like that, space, etc., all things. And after some time, he actually got something from his husband's office, some lump sum money. And she told me that I have not earned it, so I will not actually spare it for my own. What you will do? He, I can say, নিজের জীবনকে বাজি রেখে he bet her own life and bought a small 2 BK, 2 BK, 2 bedroom and a kitchen, hall, 2 BHK flat. And she said that uh, let's start with with this particular, with this small flat. Let's start a school specially for autism, and with 4 person with autism and 2 teachers, we have started. Her only request was that with his husband's name, and it has started before 24 years. I'm telling, before 24 years, 24 or 25 years. And now that school is a renowned school in special school in Kolkata with five storied building in 10 katas land, and there are 225 students with autism and 80 staff having proper recognition of special education. And of course, there are non-teaching staffs that they are having. And with this, that is Pradeep Center for Autism Management. Her husband's name was Pradeep, and that Pradeep mean lamp, and lamp of hope is our prayer for every day now. In my whole life, I have not seen that internalization. Her daughter is disabled, not her fault. Her husband's death, not her fault. But still, he find that what I have to do with all this distress to overcome that distress. Thank you all. Thanks. I have ended.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes, you're
Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming on, taking all the time and coming on this platform. It was very insightful and informative. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. May I leave now?
Yes, you may leave. You can leave the studio. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.